It's 28 degrees in Jacksonville, 24 degrees in Blackburn, 22 degrees at the Giants Causeway. Look, I'm not going to lie, the weather's quite nice at the moment, isn't it? This is Teal Talk, the official Jacksonville Jaguars UK and Ireland podcast, presented by Gallagher. I'm Jay Lawrence, no relation. He's Key Ramsorrun.
Hey.
Key.
Why are we talking about Giants Causeway? We should be renaming it Jags Causeway.
Jags Causeway. The winners of the 2025 NFL Draft, your Jacksonville Jaguars. It's been a heck of a few days, Key. Heck of a few days.
Guardian, what a roller coaster.
I mean, a roller coaster and a half. The Guardian gave Jags the win. Yahoo Sports, CBS Sports, Bleacher Report all gave the Jaguars an A. I think it's fair to say, did the Jags shock the draft? I feel like they shocked the draft. We nabbed the big one.
Arguably the best player coming out of the draft ends up at the Jags. Do you know what? Right. Are we getting into this right now or shall I wait a little bit?
Let's go on. Have you got a point? Give me a point. Give me a sentence.
Reese Parkinson, right, the host of the show, has been talking about the Jags getting Travis Hunter, honestly, since about October last year. And I'm like, Reese, it's not going to happen. Like, the chances of that happening are so low. And he's been, like, making his fantasy team for next year with Travis Hunter in it. I'm like, Reese, no. And then it happened. I couldn't believe it. Honestly, could not believe it. What a moment.
My jaw, like, dropped to the floor when it was announced that the Jags had traded up. On the show today, unsurprisingly, it's going to be a lot of draft talk. Jason Bell's going to be coming up as well, speaking about the Jags draft class of 2025. And in fact, I mean, this is going to be an amazing conversation to have as well, because our International Fan of the Year, Jamie Phillips, who was on a few episodes ago, if you remember, we revealed that he would be going to Green Bay as part of his prize to the draft. He's fresh back from Wisconsin. We're going to hear all about what it was like to, actually go see the draft. And if you're going to go see any draft, I think Jamie went to the right draft.
Absolutely.
This time
I was
around.
texting him this morning and I was like, looking forward to hearing about it. And he said, yeah, I'm just writing it all down before I forget it. So I think he might have got the sickness bug that you had in New Orleans, maybe.
Maybe. I feel like he's going to be taking a lot of notes because there's going to be a lot to talk about for him. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'd love for there to be like, to hear his reaction of what he felt like when he saw the Jags trade up and when they got what is meant to be.
We saw it. He was on the telly.
How did I miss that? He was on the telly.
Jamie, yeah,
even better.
Yeah. Oh, dude, let's catch up with him about it.
Okay, we're gonna catch up with him in a little bit. Look, I'll tell you what I'll do, Key, is I'm gonna go through all of the draft picks very quickly.
Oh, okay.
And then we'll go into it a little bit before J Bell comes on. So obviously, round one, Travis Hunter, the wide receiver / DB phenom from Colorado. Round three. Now, obviously, we didn't have a round two pick because it was traded to the Cleveland Browns as part of the trade up. My alma mater, the Tulane University's Caleb Ransor. I'm not going to lie, I was incredibly hyped to see Tulane on the board, let alone to the Jacksonville Jaguars. The nickelback, Wyatt Millam, the guard, and tackle as well, played a bunch of different positions for West Virginia as well. I apologize if I'm pronouncing his name wrong. I think it's Bayshal Tutin, the running back from Virginia Tech. That was the round 4 pick. Another round 4 pick as well. Jack Kaiser, the linebacker from Notre Dame. That draft pick was done by J Bell at StoneX Stadium, where Saracens play in London, of course. Jalen McLeod, the linebacker from Auburn. Again, I might pronounce this wrong. Ryan Lane III, the safety from Navy. That was the round 6 pick. Round 7, Jonah Monheim, the offensive lineman from USC, and another running back actually in round 7 as well, LaQuint Allen from Syracuse as well. We don't need to go into like all of these, Key, because I don't have too much knowledge on Ryan Lane III, the safety from Navy, to be honest with you.
The second I do, not the third.
It's Dad. It's Dad I could talk about all day. And, myself and J Bell will talk about Travis Hunter a little bit in a moment. But, this is, I think, let's just look at the big picture here, Key.
Yeah.
This is a Jags statement, isn't it?
It is. A, for effort, but B, for bold. Like, the move to go for Travis Hunter, excellent. But addressing the needs was big for me. There are certain areas that, based on last season, needed looking at, and they got looked at. In free agency, I think short-term needs were addressed. This draft, I think, has addressed long-term, like the next decade. Getting a guard that is going to play guard for 10 years, fantastic. I think we've done really well. James Gladstone, good job, man. Flipping heck.
Yeah, he and I mentioned it when I speak to Jay Bell in a bit. He's got this aura around him. I think James Gladstone, one of the most talked about GMs of the last few months. That's
Do you
for
know
sure.
what? Sometimes when James Gladstone is talking, he reminds me of the architect from The Matrix.
That's so specific. But
do you know, like kind of like flowing, intelligent narrative that about 5 words in, I'm lost. I've got no idea what he's talking about anymore. But he knows exactly what he's doing.
Do you remember a few months ago, Key, when we were talking on the podcast about if there was like a big like billboard up, on the freeway in Jacksonville, a big Jags billboard, and there was 3 players up there. Do you remember this conversation that we had? Who would be those 3 players? Well, I think that we've decided which 3 players they're going to be already for this new season. Trevor Lawrence, Brian Thomas Jr., and Travis Hunter.
Imagine being Trevor Lawrence, right, and looking down the field and going, BTJ or Travis Hunter. Imagine having those options.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. And what I'm really interested to see is how much he's going to play on each side of the ball as well, because this is a player who's played on both sides of the ball at Colorado. That's his whole thing, and that's why he's seen as such an amazing player going into this draft. Looks like he might be playing offense. I do want to just say one thing though, is I don't know if you saw the conversation, the draft conversation, when they call him, say we're going to pick you, and I felt like he was bombarded a little bit because he spoke to about 8 people, Travis Hunter, 8 people from the organization, both coordinators, James Gladstone, Liam Cohen, Tony Pacelli, Mr. Khan, of course, as well. But one thing that I thought was really interesting is the defensive coordinator, Anthony Campanelli, said that he was the most fired up person in that room. And I thought that's interesting, because what does that say about what he wants to do with Travis Hunter in the defensive side of the ball? We can talk about him on the offense and maybe he'll be a bit on defense, but I mean, it could be that we'll see him much more on defense than we might think.
It's going to be very interesting. I mean, there's needs in both of those positions, so it's going to be very interesting to see. I think a lot of people assume because of the flair and the fanfare that comes with a wide receiver that's where he's going to be. But he's equally talented in both positions. So, yeah. And let's be honest, even if he only played one of those positions, fantastic. If he ends up playing both, as long as it doesn't stretch him too much, I think, there's great potential.
Well, that's the big thing, isn't it? And that's the thing that we can't answer at the moment.
And college is different to the NFL, man. So we can't just expect for him to transition and do as much on offense and defense as he was in college. I just don't think that can happen.
I could speak for a long time about Caleb Ramsorrun, the nickelback from Tulane, most of all because I just want to speak about Tulane, to be honest. But again, good to have somebody in. Jags, it's no secret to say that they didn't have a good pass defense in the NFL in 2024. Need somebody young, obviously, coming up through the draft that they can build and that can hopefully be a mainstay for years to come. Again, it's like you said before, picking a position of need.
Position of need, long term as well. Yes, like fixing stuff, getting some vets in short term, fantastic. But this draft, we've addressed long term, and this is one of the positions that needed looking at. Good pick.
Yeah, a couple running backs in the draft as well, which I think is interesting, because this is going to be an interesting. We'll have to see how it all works over the next few months before the NFL season starts. A couple running backs taken in the draft. Obviously, Travis Etienne Jr. and Tank Bigsby there as well. So it's good to be giving Trevor Lawrence essentially these options, trying to build up everything around him
as well, bro.
Yeah, it's a very good point. It's a very good point.
Kick returns, punt returns. That might be what they're thinking about there.
The round 4 pick, number 107, was Jack Kaiser, the linebacker from Notre Dame. And that was picked, as I mentioned before, from StoneX Stadium in North London by Jason Bell. He did a very good job.
How do you know?
He didn't
was
mess
anyone
it up.
else there?
I was there. I was there.
Tell
and
us
I watched
all about it, Jay.
And it was an amazing Jag Tag event as well. I'll tell you what, we'll get into that and I'll talk a little bit about what went down on the day. But first, let's hear from the NFL analyst, the former cornerback, the former special teamer, Jason Bell, talking about the Jags draft class.
J Bell, as I live and breathe. I should say J Bell just announced a draft pick.
Yeah, funny, hilarious. I was just telling you, a friend of mine who's a head coach in the NFL just sent me a text message with laughing emojis. Like, what are you doing out here? So people are watching, which is good. And that's what I told the kids. I was like, this is significant, right? Somebody's life is about to change. You're about to be a part of their moment. Draft is the experience is unbelievable for these kids. It's just changed their lives, a lot of these players, and now we got to share it with them.
I mean, it's true. Jack Kaiser, who's the guy that you announced, the linebacker from Notre Dame, he watched that because he's been dreaming of that his entire life.
Getting your name called, all the work it took, all the sacrifice, your family, your friends, people by you. I'm so glad the NFL makes this an event. I'm glad the teams make it different, right? He's got his name announced here in London. Mind blown. People celebrating him as a pick. That's great, man. I love to see that.
All right, so we're just in the middle of the fourth round, actually, when we're having this conversation. Yeah. So we don't know who the Jags are going to draft in later rounds.
Nope.
But I feel like there are certain things that we can talk about.
Let's do it.
Certain people that we can talk about.
Some things might have happened.
Actually, my first question is, give me your reaction. Give me the thoughts that went through your head when you saw that the Jacksonville Jaguars had traded up from 5 to 2.
So you hear everybody talking about the noise, right? Now it's late for us, so I'm hearing something might happen, but you don't know. My first inclination was, if something is brewing, it better be somebody special. You better make a splash. So when I saw that it was Travis Hunter, I lost it. Now, obviously, I'm a home teamer. I love the Jaguars, right? They're here. I want to see them play well. I love Trevor Lawrence. So I'm looking at this pick with the new offensive coordinator, with a GM that's come from a mentality of, hey, we got to make bold decisions. And it all makes sense. If you're a Jacksonville fan, you're loving this. If you're an NFL fan, who are you now going to watch?
The
Jacksonville Jaguars. You're going to see, what are they doing? What's brewing? This is special. This is a generational talent right here, kind of player. People love him. I mean, you saw how he was when he got on stage. I mean, the way he relates. I mean, this is going to be fantastic and dynamic, not only because who he is on the field, but the person he will be in the community.
And you know what? We had this conversation on the podcast a few weeks ago about, if it had like 3 guys for the Jaguars, like you go past, you're on the motorway or whatever, there's a big poster and it's got the 3 guys from the Jags. Well, we know who they are now.
Yeah.
We know who they are because Travis Hunter literally has just inserted himself into that conversation. And you know what? I can't tell you how excited that I am. I can't tell you how excited that non-Jags fans are going to be that Travis Hunter is going to be playing both ways, probably, in London. In London.
This is what's so special, right? You only have so much attention. So you're going to watch your team. You're a fan of that. You're going to watch certain players. Now, you're going to have all these players that are Travis Hunter fans, all these fans that love him as a player. They're going to watch him. But you're going to have so many people and so much attention on this team. Because let's not forget, Trevor Lawrence is right there. He's on the precipice of greatness, I believe, in the best situation. With his 2 receivers he has now, as dynamic as this offense can be, people are going to want to watch this team.
Just talk to me a little bit about, how you see him on the team, i.e., do you think he's primarily going to be on offense, defense? Do you genuinely think we can see him play a lot of snaps on both sides of the ball?
So, Liam Cohen is your new head coach, right? What does he do? He's there to fix the offense. This is his guy. So that's where you're going to see a lot of the attention. And remember what he's done before in Tampa Bay. He's had an outside big X receiver. You got that. You got an explosive guy on the outside. That Thomas, man, he is special. So you look at the way Chris Godwin played for Tampa Bay. Now you look at what Travis Hunter can do. Short area quickness, explosive, playmaker. Just get him the ball in his hands. You've seen this formula before. You might see it duplicated again. So I see him being on offense, being that guy, and then you play him in different spots on defense. They are looking for a corner still too. So that can happen. It's going to be all about what he can take as far as volume of information, and they're going to test him in the training camps.
Well, actually, let's just go on that a little bit for a second, because, you know, that's what a lot of people have said, you know, no matter which team he joined, you're focused in one position group. You've got that, you usually have the one coach, you're in that one room. You're going to be splitting your time potentially if you're going to be the cornerback, and on offense as well. You know, how much will that impact it, do you think?
It's tough. It's difficult. You don't see rookies do that, because you're just trying to learn the business.
Anyone do it.
The Patriots have done it before with guys.
Okay.
I mean, think of how, think of the receivers they've used to play corner.
Okay.
You know, they've done it before. I think this is where good coaching comes in. Meaning, if we're going to use you in the game plan during the week, it's specific. This is what we are requiring you to do. Learn this. We're going to call plays and put you in a situation where these are your rules. We're not going to overload you, and I think that's what's going to happen. He can handle this volume because he's special. He's done it before, but it's about how you package it and teach it to them. This is on coaches now. This is why coaches are teachers who can teach him the best and get him ready to roll, because he's talented.
I don't know if you saw the conversation as well with Travis Hunter and James Gladstone, you know, making the call and all of that.
I like this James Gladstone.
Dude, like,
man.
I don't know if you've seen in recent memory, maybe in the last few years, maybe there's someone, but a GM come in and be like, no, this is how I'm doing it. I'm making a splash.
Yeah.
He has got this. I don't want to make him seem like he's some other, you know, godly being or whatever, but he's got this sort of aura around him, doesn't he?
Yeah, so he's worked under Les Snead when he was at the Rams, and you hear him talk about that and that experience and what he learned. You can see he's ready for the moment. A lot of time it's all about preparation, and you meet that situation and you're ready to go, and he's prepared. And you can see it. Now, he's going to be judged on results. How does these picks, how do they turn out? How do they play? Right now we're celebrating it because it's splashy. I will say this, you see that everything is aligned from ownership down to the coaches, because this pick was all about a splash. It was all about getting the best player in there, getting attention, saying you need to focus on our team, and that's what I love. You can always roll with that. It's a roll of the dice. You don't know what's going to happen with these players, but you got to be willing to take a chance, and that's what we saw.
All right, let's go through some of the other position groups that have been covered over the last couple of days. My alma mater, Tulane University.
What a great place.
Yeah, got a nickelback from Tulane.
I like Tulane, man.
Oh,
what
man.
a great place.
I love Tulane.
Nice, beautiful campus.
Look, we could talk Tulane for 10 minutes, to be honest with you. But anyway.
Beautiful campus.
I was very pleased to see a Tulane player come off the board for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
You saw they went on a run on that position too, which is a skillful position, right? You got to get a guy who plays there. You got the threat of the running game. You got to be quick in there. It's specific skill sets you need to have. So when you identify one of those players, you go get him, because as we know, everybody is running 5 DBs now. So you got to have somebody who can specifically play that.
Lineman as well. And what's interesting,
guard
actually,
too.
I think, guard, but, you know, he got experience playing left tackle and right tackle as well. Looks like we might be able to use him in different positions. And I guess when you're the Jags and when you're looking at your offensive line, you need someone that can do a bunch of things.
Yeah, especially if you're the swing guy.
Yeah.
If you're not going to be the starter, the more you can do. There's only so many people.
Better for your career as well.
Yeah. There's only so many people that can line up on. You can only have so many, right, on Sunday. So the more you can do, the more positions you can play, especially on offense. If somebody goes down, can you play guard? Can you play tackle? But this is all about protecting your quarterback, right? One thing about Trevor, sometimes he's a long strider in the pocket when he steps up. You do not want that pressure in his face. Those guards have to be sturdy and stout, and that's why you go out and try to get one.
Linebacker, of course, and a running back as well. Let's just touch on the running back room as well, because new running back for the Jaguars, and another. We've obviously got Travis Etienne Jr. There as well. Looks like it's going to be an interesting room there.
Yeah, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get talented young players that fit your ethos, fit how you want to be identified. How do you work? Because those guys are going to go out there, and even if they're not starters, how are they getting you prepared each week. And when you think about it as a GM and a team builder, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to build this identity of who we are, how we go about our business. And it starts with these young players that are going to be on your roster that if they don't, they might have to contribute. And when they do and they're ready to go, what do they look like? How do they approach it? And that's why you're picking personalities that fit this profile that are the identity of the team, and that's what we are going to see.
Well, that's what James Gladstone's been all about. He's talking about the personalities, intangibles, and all of that. Okay, so 4 rounds down. How are you feeling about the Jags? Is there any position groups you'd have liked to have seen them go for?
You know what? It's all about the splash, man. When you start to look at how they're building, anything that happens, we're going to evaluate throughout the season. Like, I love the game. I love watching the draft, but I am a week in, week out kind of like this matchup. Who are we playing? Who's producing? So when I look at this team in week 8, what young players are stepping up? What guys have they drafted that have had to get them through a game, or they're a surprise? Now, with Travis Hunter, it's all about how they use him, how unique he is, how they showcase his skill set. And because of that, you got to look at this draft as an A, only because, for me, it's attention. It's an A for attention, man. That is important. We are going to be locked in to see what this team is doing, the same way we were when they drafted Trevor. We're going to see that all over again.
So that means, and we'll end on this, just tell me this. How hyped are you to see Travis Hunter in London?
Oh, my gosh. Hey, man, so we know the same people. I know some people that work for him. I am going to be asking for some favors. I'm going to be like, come on, man. Like, I know it's people that do a lot of his marketing stuff. My friend actually owns the company, Michael Strahan. So I'll be like, Stray, please.
Sorry, your friend Michael Strahan.
I mean, it's my boy.
Oh, who's that?
Yeah, he's my boy. He comes out here all the time, man. You know what I'm saying? Me and Stray, that's my guy, man. That's my boy. So, yeah, I'm going to ask him, man, let me get that interview, man, because everybody's going to want to talk to this kid. And he's so friendly, so dynamic, so explosive. I'm just... Think of how lucky we are that we get to see him.
We're lucky, man.
Yeah,
You're getting me hyped.
I mean, this is what we do.
Jay Bell?
My guy.
Jason Bell, who I think it's fair to say, quite excited about Travis Hunter being a Jag. Quite excited. I mean, I am as well. And this is what I mentioned to him. Quite excited about seeing Travis Hunter play at Wembley Stadium too, Key.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen J Bell not excited about
That's a
something,
good point.
but it's nice to see that he is excited about this. Yeah.
And it was an amazing day as well, because obviously the draft pick, happened from StoneX Stadium, but it was an amazing day of Jag Tag UK with the AO as well, because...
Jay, was it your first Jag Tag experience?
I don't know if it was my first Jag Tag experience. It might have been. I mean, my memory's not very good, to be honest with you. It might have been, but I'll tell you the big thing that I really took from that event, and this is going to sound dumb. This is going to sound really dumb. Is how unbelievably talented these players are. We're talking like kids that are like, 10, 11 years old. They are throwing the ball like better than, anybody I know. Quite genuinely. They are extremely talented flag football players. And there was a BAFA clinic that was going on at the same time.
Yes.
And it was just amazing to see this is something that maybe you could do in the future if you wanted to, It was an amazing day just to see these really talented players from all around the UK go to where Saracens play as well. It's an amazing stadium, and be part of the draft experience, being in the background of when Jay Bell did his pick as well. So, amazing for them. Amazing for me as well to be able to watch it and just be kind of like in awe of how genuinely talented these players are.
Mm. What a fantastic day for them. What a fantastic experience. So I've been going to see Jag Tag for quite a few years now. I think I can't remember how many years, but quite a few years. And talking to Andy Scott, we've had him on the podcast, Grassroots UK. One of the ideas is that they have a journey to go on. So they start off with Jag Tag, then can go to BAFA clinics, and then potentially, Olympics further down the line for flag and all of this sort of thing. And the fantastic thing is, it's not just talk. You see it happening because I've been going for a few years. You see it happening. You see these kids getting better and better and better and progressing and taking this journey. And to see that happening and it not just being something that we've been talking about, unbelievable, man. And like you say, some of these kids are really good.
Yeah, they are really good. And also, I think it was quite funny that, almost the nonchalance almost, because it's just normal to them for scoring these amazing touchdowns. There was this amazing one where it was
getting all of this.
The last, sorry.
You're getting all of the celebrations with the whatever.
Yeah, almost. But one of the best things that happened was it was a last second play, and it was a touchdown from the other end of the field that I watched, and I was just like, I was quite jealous. I was quite envious that I didn't do it when I was younger. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because it just looked like so much fun as well. All right.
Next week, Jay, me and you in the park, flag football.
yeah. Okay. I feel like we need to get back to draft talk, and there's somebody that we need to speak to, because we have a big question every episode, don't we, on the podcast? Mm-hmm. Now, it's usually you or I giving the big question, or hearing the big question even from a Jags fan in the UK or Ireland. This time, we're going to be doing the big question.
Oh, I love it.
Jamie Phillips joins us. Jamie is our International Fan of the Year. Jamie, we announced to him on the podcast 2 episodes ago that he was going to the draft. He is back. What is our big question, Key?
Jamie Phillips, Jaguars International Fan of the Year. How was the draft, man?
Still recovering right now, but it was a phenomenal experience. Everything was just amazing. I kind of put into words kind of what a great week I've had over in Green Bay, meeting so many great like-minded fans from the Jaguars to every other 31 teams that was there as well, with fans from the US, from the UK, Australia, Canada, Brazil. It's just been a great experience.
Number one highlight, Jamie. Number one, give it us.
Number one highlight. There's obviously a million highlights in there. You could say, obviously, actually doing a draft pick, that is obviously huge in itself. But for me, I think is the kind of the global picture that's circulated everywhere of us picking at Travis Hunter. And the very first thing he did after being picked was come and joining us in the Jaguars inner circle area and having that huge selfie picture. And there's my crazy mug face right behind him, like shouting and cheering, losing my voice, just going wild, and just being in that moment in that selfie picture. And obviously the Jaguars have used that picture now as their profile picture with half of my eye. They've cut everybody else around it. My eye is still in that picture. So that picture's obviously had millions and millions of views. So I'll take that. That's my claim to fame. One eye, my left eye.
But that's the bit that everyone's talking about actually in that picture as well. So you should, they're really saying, "Whoa, that eye, left eye."
Oh, and look, there's Travis Hunter.
yeah, but really, the left eye.
Yeah, that stands out more than the pink suit he was wearing. Absolutely.
That's it. I mean, it must have been. Actually, tell us your reaction. Tell us reaction when you saw, presumably up on the screen, that the Jags had traded up. Tell us what went through your mind.
Everything was just so crazy. You're put into this area of the inner circle amongst all the other fans, and there's 15 of us Jaguars fans obviously all together in this little group. Everyone's all hyped, and we're sat next to Titans because you sat in your divisions. So Titans are next to us, and obviously they're the first pick, and they're all getting excited. There's cameras all surrounded them, and then it starts to kind of mellow down just a little bit, and it's all kind of a bit chilled, and then the next moment, someone's tapping on your shoulder and going, "The Jaguars have traded up, and then it just goes wild because it's like, we're going to get Travis Hunter, we're going to take Travis Hunter, and everyone's going insane because we don't know we're going to get Travis Hunter because that hasn't been announced yet. Obviously, we're waiting for the pick to be announced, but we're presuming that's what's happening, and the excitement that we've traded up, and we don't know what we've lost at this stage, we don't know what we've traded away, and we don't care because we've just picked up this, obviously, second pick. So the cameras obviously move away from the Titans, and they just instantly, just literally in your face, you're talking 10, 12 cameras just literally there, like ESPN, Fox, every single camera is just there and watching your reactions. We're all stood there all so excitedly, like shouting, cheering. We've got we've got these giant billboards which are there for us. So I had a big Duval sign. Everyone's all holding those, and there's Trevor Lawrence signs and stuff. And then obviously we have Arik Armstead come out. We've obviously given some great Duvals, and if you watch back on the video of that actual pick, he actually looks over to his left, and he's actually looking at us as reacting to us, kind of shouting and cheering him as well, because we're excited to see him. And obviously then he announced the pick, and then the whole theatre just goes insane. It's not just the Jaguars kind of area going insane, just the whole stage area, just everywhere is just going wild. And see Travis Hunter comes out, does his thing, and we've all still got the cameras around us, and it all goes insane. And then then obviously Travis then comes down down the stairs, like I said, and then he comes over and has that selfie, and we're just honestly, it's just wild. We know we haven't got any other picks for the rest of the night, but we're all on such a buzz, and it was just insane. We'd pop off to say the toilet or afterwards, and everybody's just coming up to you and go, "Them Jags, eh?" Like, and just literally just wanting to talk about what we've done, and everybody was annoyed that they didn't get Travis, and we're the one that made that blockbuster trade to get the guy everybody is basically talking about. So that was just so surreal.
Jamie, what do you think it says, to go away from the experience of it a little bit? I want to know what you think it says about what this organization is trying to do and trying to say for the 2025 season. What does that specifically, that move to trade and pick Travis Hunter, what does it say for us?
I think it means to be an absolute business. We're not here to just do what the script says. We're here to make a statement ourselves, and I think it's the right thing to have done. I don't think anybody predicted it. I mean, I'd seen rumours that apparently there was talks about this 2 weeks ago, but I hadn't heard a single word of that even potentially happening. I know when we did my announcement on here, you had Reese on, and he said we're going to get Travis Hunter, but
how did he
not
know?
with the second pick. Yeah,
it's almost annoying that he knew. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. So it never came into anybody's minds that we was going to make this absolute bold move. So I think that's absolutely something that they needed to do, to show that they mean business and they aren't just going to settle into the league and just do what the league tells them to do, if that makes sense. Like, just does the norm. They've gone and just made that huge bold statement of trading up to the second pick, which is something that we've very rarely done in kind of the history of kind of the draft. So
big statement.
I love it.
I also think it's kind of cool when, you're looking forward to, it's a big night. You're already looking forward to, anything really. Mm-hmm. And then somehow it exceeds your expectations because something, amazing happens that you didn't, think was going to happen. I think that's a really good example of it. Tell us about the rest of your experience, Jamie, and what else you did, and what else you did draft wise as well.
Yeah, so as part of the whole experience, so the very first day we had a Q&A with Roger Goodell. Unfortunately, I was unable to ask him the question of what we'd have inside the stadium, the ludicrous ball pit that he suggested. There was no opportunity to ask him that question, which
probably a good thing.
It wouldn't have fit in the.
We all know the plans are going very well for it.
Yeah. So that's how the whole event kicked off, which obviously just a great start to the whole week. Then on the first day, before even the first day of the draft, we had a draft theatre tour. So we got to get up on stage, have some good picture opportunities, and we got to learn a little bit more about just the whole theatre and the setup itself and how long it's taken Green Bay to set up. Then we was able to go backstage and go and see the green room where you would have seen all the prospects were staying.
Amazing.
That room. We weren't allowed to take any pictures, but we was in that room with them and we saw how it was all kind of furnished and stuff. And then we got to do the nice walk down the bit where it's got all the wooden plaques of all the logos.
Oh, that looks amazing.
Inside. We got to do the walk down there as well on that first day. And even that alone was just phenomenal. And that was just the start of the events. Then after that, we then checked in for the day, actually as a part of the experience of the draft. We then got to do a red carpet walk. So actually in Lambeau Field, right by the side of the field in the stadium, we got to do a red carpet walk where we was putting our clusters of fans. So I was with the Fan of the Year, Melissa, and obviously myself being International Fan of the Year, and we was introduced with lots of people sat in the stands, and they introduced us and allowed us to take videos and stuff as we did a red carpet walk and had so a good picture opportunity and stuff there as well.
Jamie, what's Lambeau Field feel like? Can you feel history there?
Yeah, it's insane. Like, it's just so surreal. They don't have chairs. The stadium, it's just all benches.
Yeah.
So it just feels so naturally old. It's crazy. And if you haven't done it before, if anybody hasn't done it before, I definitely would recommend it. I was fortunate to actually have a tour on the following day. So on the Friday evening, we did get like a back of house tour of Lambeau Field, and we got to see the history of all of basically how it's just expanded. And we saw like the old concrete building when it was only 20 levels high, and then all the expansions, which is all paid for by the fans. So all the fans that they had pride in telling us that they're all shareholders of the Packers, which being a shareholder means absolutely nothing in monetary value, but the fact that they can say they're a shareholder of the stadium and they've helped develop whatever it is, an extra 5,000 seats in the stadium, or they've developed by adding a box here and there into the hospitality and stuff like that. It's just amazing, and to see all like the names of the Hall of Famers around the side of the stadium when you're on the inside, it's just absolutely great to see. Then after that first day, we then had obviously the draft, which we can just blow over that now because we discussed about how great the first day was. Then the next day, we then got to do a tour of the draft selection room. So we got to go into the room kind of where all kind of the magic happens that you don't actually see. And there's like a team of 20 odd people all sat there with obviously video calls, video phones, and lawyers, etc., etc. Obviously dealing with trades and stuff. So getting to see that was also just a huge opportunity to kind of see how kind of the engine room really kind of runs for the NFL draft. And they get to tell us about a few stories when if someone doesn't put a draft pick in, that people can bump up your order. So it's great to kind of hear all that as well. And we also had an opportunity to meet the international pathway players as well. So they was there, and we had an opportunity to chat with them. So to chat with the two British guys that are amongst the crowd in there, it was really, really good. And obviously they were excited at the thought that they could potentially be drafted or get selected, but this weekend just gone. So really good to have a chat with them as well, which really kind of brought it home a little bit as well, if that makes sense. So we've been put on this experience, and obviously it's the American dream, we'll get in this draft, but to actually see, like, speaking to one of the guys who was from like Nottingham, Spalding area, you know, and it's just like, it's absolutely great to kind of see their kind of living that dream as well, and just being a part of that kind of process, which was just absolutely phenomenal. Like,
I mean, I mean, just quickly on him, because his name's Maz Mwanza, and he got into playing American football whilst at uni and just watched like Last Chance U, and now he's joined the Carolina Panthers, which is
playing Madden.
Crazy.
Absolutely insane stories from all five of the individuals that we met, actually. There was a couple obviously from like Australia and stuff as well, and just their stories were all the same, and they were just very normal guys. Like, you ever just played rugby, and someone said we should go along and try playing this, and I played a bit of Madden, and now here they are, like at the NFL stage after trying to play American football for literally just a year. So absolutely mental, really.
So what's your highlight then, do you think, of the whole experience? The one highlight.
The one highlight, obviously, as I've already mentioned, obviously the Travis Hunter thing is probably the biggest thing for me. If you wanted to set the draft sort of element aside, I would say just the people of Green Bay, absolutely amazing. Absolutely everybody was completely like considerate, polite, with like, obviously the algorithms of Facebook, etc. When you obviously in Green Bay, you see local news and feeds and stuff as well. There was one arrest the whole weekend from what we'd seen. Just everybody there was it's so well behaved. It's just a lovely, clean city. And just the local people were just phenomenal. We went out in Ubers, and an Uber driver took us out for breakfast, didn't charge for the Uber, and paid for the breakfast as well. Took us to a local spot and paid for our breakfast also.
I mean, that's the most shocking thing of this whole episode. That's crazy.
That just puts into context the way the people were there. And
how is that not your highlight, Jamie?
Star.
How did you not lead with that?
I didn't want to just talk about food.
Guys, I had a good time at the draft, but the Uber driver, that is crazy.
His name was Sean, if you wanted to know. He owns
Shout out Sean from Green Bay, Wisconsin, the Uber driver.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
That is crazy.
I did obviously announce that when I did my pick, obviously on the stage on day 3. I did reference to the local Green Bay, and I mentioned a couple of their items that they're really proud of there, just to kind of get the crowd on board, because I couldn't deal with the booing of over 200,000 fans that were in attendance. Like a couple of my friends who obviously I met through the International Fan of the Year. So I'll shout out Kimmy. She's Chicago Bears International Fan of the Year. Obviously, she went out to a crazy amount of boos, obviously being a Bears fan. And hats off to her being able to go out and deal with that. And she rocked it how she did with her experience. And she kept the boos going on purpose with some of the things that she said on stage. I couldn't do that, so I had to have them on side and get a cheer from them before I could announce our draft pick. So
I think that's a way to do it. My friend Dan is a Packers fan, and he did the draft pick last year when it was in Detroit, and he was G'ing it up, getting as many boos as possible. And I was thinking,
I can't do that.
Don't think that my ego could take it, to be honest.
No, someone's got to play heel, bro.
Yeah, that's it. Jamie, look, I cannot tell you, first of all, how jealous I am. I'm going to speak on behalf of Key as well, how jealous we are, but how good we feel that you got to experience that.
Utterly delighted for you, Jamie.
It just sounds like a week of joy.
Oh, 100%.
That's fair to say.
Yeah, and special thanks to you guys. It was you guys that announced it. You guys have kind of been here along the whole way, and it's been great. I can't obviously thank you guys and the organisation enough for this opportunity.
Jamie, who do you, of course, man, who did you take with you?
Took fellow Jags fan Darren Abbott, decided to take him along. I thought it was the right thing to do. I did mention on the previous pod about not bringing my wife, which wasn't going to go down very well, but still being very true and honest this day, it wouldn't have been the right thing to take my wife. As much as she would have loved a trip to Green Bay, doing the whole NFL thing, she's not into that sort of stuff. It was very long. Like, there was a lot going on, and the Jaguars went like 90 odd picks without a pick, basically, especially on day 3. And day 1 to day 2, there was like 80 odd places we had to wait. So my wife was sat there. I'd be consciously having to worry and think about her. So I thought the only right thing to do was to bring another fan to just experience the same as what I want to experience and kind of get that.
Darren's the real winner then, isn't he?
Adam?
Darren's the real winner. Like, Darren is. We should be like, credit to Darren. He just got asked to go on a trip to Wisconsin to the draft. Yeah. I mean, that's amazing. A couple of
videos of me and cheer me on when I go on stage. That's what he had to do. Yeah.
Jamie, look, thank you so much for coming on Teal Talk. And we are so happy that you got to experience that. And it just sounds like a bucket list item, just a big bucket list item, just sort of ticked off. So we are unbelievably happy that you got to experience that, man.
Yeah, it was obviously absolutely great. I've brought back some great little bits of memorabilia from the event.
Oh yeah, you gotta.
Well, so I kept in front of me my draft pick.
Let's have a look. Put it to camera. This is why you've got. This is why you've got to watch. If you're not watching on YouTube right now, it's why you got to get on YouTube so you can see the draft pick that Jamie did. That is frameable. Get that up on the wall.
So good. Yeah. You've got to get that signed, man.
Oh,
that is unreal.
I've already tried to reach out to Rayon Lane as well, so we'll see if he gets back to me or.
Well, I do hear that the Jags do turn up in London every now and again. So
hope he'd be there. I've already said that, so hopefully he's there. That's how I led with the message. I messaged him on Instagram. He hasn't read it yet, so I hope he's just so busy with all these messages we've received. But yeah, I've already reached out to him and said, I'm looking forward to meet you in London when you come over for the game. So
that's it. Jamie, thanks so much for coming on today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me back on, and I'll catch up with you all soon.
What a wonderful guy. Incredibly jealous of his experience, could you tell? But it's just an incredible thing to do. And the amount of things that he did there, Key, as well, it wasn't just, let's go and experience the draft. It was all of the things that he did whilst he was there, which just make it just incredible
about
time.
10 minutes of him saying, and then we did this, and then we did that, and then we did, and then he went, and that was day 1.
Yeah.
What?
And that's not even including the fact that he did a draft pick as well. So that it was just, unbelievable few days. Unbelievable few days for Jags fans, I think, around the world. Especially unbelievable few days for Mr. Jamie Phillips too, and his mate. particularly his mate, who just got to go. I mean, like, who just got, hey, do you want to come to the draft? Yeah, all right. Yeah. I think that probably wraps up the podcast today, Key, and I think it's fair to say that we went through quite a lot.
Dude, it's been a good one.
And I'm sure that we've probably missed quite a lot as well at the same time.
Probably.
But it's just what happens when it comes to the draft, doesn't it? But I think I can speak on behalf of Jags fans in the UK and Ireland, around the world. What a few days, Key. What a few days.
What a few days. I honestly, and I'm not just saying it, I haven't come out of a draft weekend feeling as excited and impressed as I have for maybe ever, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. Now look, we're going to be back at the end of May, aren't we, Key? This has been a Shooting Shark production for Jacksonville Jaguars in the UK and Ireland, in partnership with Gallagher. If you're listening on your podcasts, go subscribe on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, go subscribe on your podcast. We will be back at the end of May.